2026 is shaping up to be a huge year for Avatar, maybe one of the biggest years in recent memory. We are getting a new animated movie following adult versions of Aang and the main group, the next season of Netflix's live-action adaptation, new books, and what could be the biggest surprise of the year, which is a first-time ever fighting game for Avatar. I've got my eye on that way more than most other stuff, and I have a good feeling it's going to be a big one on its reception. So today, let's break down everything, including that's coming next year for the Avatar franchise and why fans should be very excited. So we are going to start from biggest to smallest releases in terms of when in the year they come out. And the first thing that we are getting is the next season of the Netflix live-action adaptation, which will adapt Book 2 from the original cartoon. As of right now, there is no confirmed release date, which I find a little odd, but at this rate, I think it's pretty safe to say that it will either come out in March or April, given the marketing for it has now started up. We got the first trailer, and we have several first look images of our characters and locations of where they are going to help us identify what episodes from the original cartoon will be adapted into the new season. There is still plenty more to go as far as marketing for this season and what will be revealed to us, and I recommend you all go and watch my recent videos inside of my playlist that I've made around covering the show on the top right hand of your screen. I've been covering a lot of the behind the scenes for this next season around the changes they are making on the filmmaking side, and overall, I'm way more optimistic for the quality that we will get from those changes. I know a lot of people are hesitant to want to continue watching, but at the end of the day, there is still a possibility that they can improve upon from season 1. So again, go watch those videos to hear about all the new people who were cast, the new writers and directors, and so on. The next of the three biggest releases in 2026, the one that I actually think is going to surprise people the most, revolves around the brand new Avatar video game. Getting a new Avatar video game is like winning the lottery at this point. You'd be lucky enough to live a full life and see one get released. Obviously, I'm joking, but this year we are getting a new one, and it's in the realm of the fighting game community. Avatar has yet to get a full-fledged game in this genre of video games, and I think for a lot of fans, this is something that they've been wanting to see because it actually works and it fits. So far, there have been several trailers and promos showcasing gameplay, and also many people have gotten the chance to play the game early in a pre-alpha stage for a test that you were allowed to sign up for within the last several months. It's safe to say that, so far, most people, including fighting game content creators who have gotten their hands on early gameplay, are really excited for what's to come. When you have people saying this gameplay looks good for its early development, that's saying a lot. As a gamer myself, this excites me since it would be my first entry into fighting games, given I don't play this particular type of game. I know that for a lot of Avatar fans out there, gaming is not necessarily the first thing they think of when it comes to consuming what we've been given from the franchise as a whole since it started, especially when you factor in that most video games we've gotten from it have not been good. This could be the first Avatar video game for a lot of people, and I'm hoping that it turns out well. It is set to have a multiplayer mode, a potential story mode, and all of that sounds promising, and yet I still have my worries for it as far as the monetization systems that they could potentially put into the game, but that's a conversation for another time. Those are my only worries, and I find that the gameplay will suffice enough, hopefully if all goes well. It is slated to come out in the summer on console and PC, but for most video games these days, a delay is certainly possible, so just prepare yourself for that if it happens. The final of the three biggest releases in 2026 for the Avatar franchise revolves around the franchise's first ever attempt at making a full-fledged animated film. Of course, we have had a live-action film before, and we all know how that turned out, but this is the first time we are actually doing animated. The film would be taking place years after the events of Avatar the Last Airbender and before The Legend of Korra, and it will follow Aang and our gang of heroes as older adults as they learn of an ancient power that could save Aang's culture from extinction. They embark on a global quest to find it before it falls into the wrong hands and threatens to upend the peace that they sacrificed everything to achieve. This movie has been in development for many years now, since 2021, when Avatar Studios was officially founded, and yet it has also been in development hell for all 5 of those years under the Paramount leadership that owns it along with Nickelodeon. Recently, in the last several weeks, it was announced that the movie would be going to streaming instead of theaters, and so it would be released day 1 on Paramount+. I've already given my frustrations about that decision and why it's a bad idea, and you can go and listen to me give those thoughts in the latest video that I uploaded. Overall, the premise of this film definitely sounds interesting, and it's something that I would have loved to have seen on the big screen, along with many other fans fans who have preached about wanting that same experience. We also don't know if this movie will get delayed again, and that's probably the least of Paramount's concerns, given that their current movie slate of releases this year is probably one of the worst that the studio has ever had. Taking it off a theater release just doesn't help it one bit. What could have been the most hyped and anticipated event of the year for the franchise has now turned into one of the least anticipated because of that decision. But I'm still going to watch it in some way when it comes out, since it is following our core group that we grew up with, and I love those characters way too much. And last but not least, we have the novelizations. This is the part of the Avatar franchise that has been given the most amount of releases in recent years. We get several new novels every year, and 2026 will see several more. I'll run through all of them in order of release date. First one is called I Am Sokka, which is a little kid's book following his adventures as he takes on the Fire Nation. It's a part of a series with titles of the same name with other characters in the main gang. As of me recording this video, which is after I get back from my small vacation, it will have released already on the 6th of this month. This is nothing too serious, it's just something for your kids to read. Avatar the Last Airbender Relics of the Four Nations is not necessarily a novelization, but more of a collector's item, as you can see by the picture on your screen. This set includes over a dozen high-quality collectibles such as Katara's necklace, a pop-out foam glider, a blue spirit patch, a Ba Sing Se pin, paper lanterns, and some great-looking artwork and imagery. This is something I think a lot of longtime fans would love to buy, especially if they are physical media collectors, and you can get your hands on it when it comes out on March 13th. Avatar Legends Bending Academy is a new novelization series in the world of Avatar that just had its first book released in 2025 called Light It Up. Once again, this is not something to take too seriously, just meant to be a book series for your kids if they are interested. The rumor is that the second book in the series will come out in spring of this year, but there is no confirmation just yet. Avatar the Last Airbender, the official book of Amigurumi, has an upcoming craft book featuring over 20 crochet patterns for characters like Aang, Katara, Appa, Iroh, and many more characters. So basically, if you are looking to create some of your favorite characters out of yarn, this is definitely for you, and it will be releasing right around the time that summer begins on May 19th. Avatar Legends Masters of the Elements Volume 1 might single-handedly be the #1 novelization for Avatar that I'm looking forward to the most this coming year. It was just recently announced, and it is the first volume of a new short story series of books set to follow the lives of Avatar Korra, Aang, Roku, Kyoshi, and Yang Chen. So it's basically an anthology series, and given it's following all these different avatars, that's what appeals to me the most about it. I want to learn more about all these past avatars, and for lots of fans, this is going to be something to look forward to the most out of any of the different novelizations, so mark your calendars for July 14th. That's going to be a very fun summer when this drops at the same time as the Avatar fighting game. Avatar will be getting a few new coloring books released on August 11th, a month later, called Avatar Paint with Water and Avatar Color by Number. Two fun little things for the kids, or if you are somebody who's older and really likes to draw, this would be in your wheelhouse as well. Finally, delving back into the world of gaming, but not necessarily video games, we have the release of what is called Avatar Legends, the role-playing game, The Voyage of Unity. This is something that had already been announced through a Kickstarter on May 20th of last year and is currently slated to release in September. It's a tabletop game that consists of a series of 5 adventures relating to the ship Unity during the era of Avatar Roku. If I'm correct in saying this, that synopsis of it is mostly new information behind the character of Roku, and not something that's necessarily official to the canon, but I would be wrong about that, and I would hope that somebody corrects me if I am. I am not a tabletop gamer, so I am probably the last person you should come to regarding how this works, but I think it is something that you all should keep in mind if you are interested. So that's everything to do with the novels. Now, let's talk about some more unofficial releases that are up in the air that may or may not come out this year or sometime in 2027. The first one relates to the official Avatar podcast hosted by Korra and Zuko themselves, Janet Varney, and Dante Bosco, called Braving the Elements. They just recently finished their newest season covering the first 2 books of The Legend of Korra, and I imagine that they would return sometime this year to cover the last 2 books of the show, which would feature a multitude of cool and fun guests like how they've been doing with past seasons. Again, nothing is official official, so that's up in the air if you are curious. These next two topics relate to something that will most likely not release this year, but I would imagine that there is a possibility that we get more details around them, as well as first glimpses to first look images and other forms of marketing. The first one relates to the already announced Avatar RPG called Avatar Ice Wars. It's the working title for a game that is set 7,000 years in the past, developed by Saber Interactive, and is expected to release around 2027 through 2028. Now, those dates shouldn't scare you, because the way it works in the video game industry is that normally, sometimes video games tend to start marketing their stuff very early on, so it would not completely surprise me if we got a first official look at this game at this year's Game Awards in December before the year ended. Saber Interactive has become a much bigger name in the video game industry in recent years, and that means their name carries a lot of weight with where they could have their stuff be revealed, especially if it's for an RPG style game. I would certainly love to see that happen, because I think an Avatar RPG is something that fans would crave if they are gamers. And finally, there is a possibility that we get a little bit more marketing around the next official animated Avatar TV series called Avatar 7 Havens. We've been talking about this show for a hot minute now, since a lot of new information came out about it this past year. And when you think about Avatar, most people tend to think about the shows, whether it's the original series or if it's something like The Legend of Korra. 9 times out of 10, if you stop someone on the street and ask them what they know this franchise for, it's probably going to be because of one of those two shows, mainly the original. Most content that I've made about this show has done very well, and it says a lot with where most people's focus and excitement is on. There's no chance that a single episode comes out this year, and it most likely will come out in 2027. But again, if we are going to get marketing for it, it's probably going to start sometime later in the year if we get more official images than just the only one that we've gotten so far of our main characters. Definitely keep your eye out for that, because I know most of you here watching are looking forward to it the most. But I think that's a good way to end the video, breaking down everything coming to the Avatar the Last Airbender franchise in 2026, and we will finish it off by asking this question. What are you personally looking forward to the most out of this list of everything I broke down? Tell me why, and leave your answers down below in the comments. I look forward to hearing your answers. As a side note, I am going to do my best to try and cover all of this, because as you know, if you've been following my channel, I do work a full-time job, and so YouTube is my side hobby, and so I'm going to try and do my best for all of that. If you did enjoy the video and you want to see more as we go into 2026, be sure to give it a like, and if you are new to this channel, subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Thank you all for stopping by Uncle Iroh's Tea Shop. I hope everyone here has a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you all soon for the next video.